He was so joyful, so alive, and so sometimes it's a reminder of what's no longer there.
11-year-old Harry Brendel's ailing body carries the weight of a mystery, a thief of his mobility. At first, the signs were subtle.
He wasn't holding his head up. He had never crawled.
What once seemed fleeting soon began to loom larger.
He was sort of dropping his head repeatedly and closing his eyes. And then we went to the doctor visit, and I could sort of see in her face that something was wrong.
Mom Kelsey recalls those early days as a haze of uncertainty, never imagining the depths of the journey that lay ahead.
You think you're just one solve, one doctor away, one medicine away for fixing it. But at the time, I didn't realize that it was the beginning of something much bigger.
Over the next few years, Harry begins to struggle with eating and seizures, though somewhat manageable.
He could run around the playground, and we were still in that space where you think he'll catch up.
Then came kindergarten, and with it, a phone call that would change everything.
His teacher called me a few minutes later. And as soon as she took this video, which I still have, limping and literally couldn't carry the weight of his own leg.
Harry walked into class that day full of promise and hope, but he would never walk unassisted again. His steps now measured in challenges and the unknown.
Watching all of a sudden his limbs move differently and then become incredibly stiff.
A neurosurgery and months at Spalding followed.
And we worked so hard, and I think it's why some of these songs are so important to him. The songs that he listens to now are the same ones that were paired with doing certain tasks in that hospital.
Though his progress was short-lived, music remains a gift, unlocking Harry's joy and providing a profound way for him to express himself when words and movement fail.
I got it.
These are the moments Kelsey clings to, moments where despite the challenges, she knows her son feels the love that surrounds him.
They've taught me so much about how much somebody can say in silence.
Oh, thank you.
Harry will grab my hand. He knows who is on his team.
Kelsey says the hardest part of this journey is not knowing.
It's really a whole second level of pain I never would have understood or thought about. That piece that is also, I think, especially lonely for people.
She has found a glimmer of hope at the UDN, with Dr. Sweetser leading the way.
We're all very heavily invested in both you and Harry.
Maybe, she says, they will find a key to Harry's decline, uncover the missing piece of the puzzle, and bring them closer to answers they've longed for.
Watching something get worse has been the greatest sadness I think I've known. And so in those moments, I've equated finding an answer with the end to that sadness.
And Kelsey says one of the really hard things when you have someone who is undiagnosed is there's really no community to belong to, because nobody else has exactly this thing, because you don't know what this thing is.
Yeah, and that's one of the really hard things about being in this situation. Kelsey continues to raise money in Harry's honor at the Center for Courageous Kids, providing care for children with complex diagnosis.
Still ahead, for one little girl, a clinical trial and a reason for hope.